All right, Nigel, we're back here with a quick lesson for you, and we've been going over the chords, and I've been teaching you the basic chords, which we call the triads, which we call also, this is bad. Hi, Nigel, they'll come back to this lesson. Just a quick little lesson here. Hopefully you've been practicing some stuff. We've been going over triads, and triads are 3 notes in a chord. Again, chord is just basically 2 or more notes played at the same time. The triad that we're talking about has a special pattern to it in which we have a note and we skip up over a note and we skip up over another. That little pattern right there is called a triad. And it's also called in root position, which means it looks like this. You have the note on the bottom, and we're going to call this, of course, the C. So this is going to be called the C chord. Okay, now this is not a C chord. Even though C is on the bottom, it doesn't go to this little pattern where we skip over and skip over. So for this example, that is a C chord, and it's a triad in root position. Let's go down to this one here. Now this is a triad, 3 notes, and it's in root position again because we have 1, skip a note, and skip a note, and G is on the bottom, so we're going to call this a G chord. Okay. So real quickly, again, you have a triad, and when it looks like this, it's a root position chord, and the lowest note gives us the name of the chord. So that would be a C chord. This is a D chord, E chord, F chord, G, A, B, and all the way up to C. Now, we're going to get in a little bit into what we call minor and major chords. So let's quickly explain that. In music theory, we have about 4 types of triads. And so I'm just going to teach you the first 2, which are real basic. And that's what they call major. Okay. And then we have one called the minor. So just use your ears and listen to that. And the difference between this chord and this chord is this middle note. We call this the third. And if we count scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 5, we say that we get the third and we move it down. That's a technical thing of a minor triad. Now let's go to this one here. Now this chord, again, I'm just using all the white keys. It's a triad. It's in the root position, but it actually is not a major chord. It's a minor one. This would make it major. You kind of feel the sound difference? Go back to the C. So when we're learning the piano, one of the unique things about the piano, again, is you have a lot of white keys, and we have groups of black keys in 2s and 3s. Now, triads are not a combination of black and white keys. They're actually a combination of what we call scale degrees. But to make the piano easier to look at, we have these groups of 2s and 3s. Now, the guitar doesn't have that. They have just frets, and they have little dots that'll show us. And we just have to know that these things called intervals, we'll get to a little bit later. But anyway, that's a major chord. That's a minor chord. And remember, we said the third. It goes up or down to make it minor or major. Let's go to this one here, E. We're going to use all white keys. Can you guess if that is minor? And if you guessed minor, it's minor. To make it major. Okay. So in the key of C, we have a C major, D minor, E minor. Let's move it to the F. Again, the triad. Listen to that. Can you guess what it is? Is it major or minor? You guessed major. You're right. If you make it minor, we're just going to take this middle note, move it down. Now, some people say the minor sound has a more sad sound to it. scary, whatever you call it. I don't know. Whatever you want to figure out in your mind how to remember that. All right, let's go next to the G. Is that major or minor triad? Just use your ears. If you guessed minor, you're wrong. It's major. La, 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 la. This would be minor. Okay, again, we're just using all the white keys. We're using the key of C. Is that major or minor? That is minor. All right. Now, the last key or chord that we're going to use, we did all these, right? We're just using all the white keys. We're building triads in root position on each one. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. Ooh, let's do the last one. Is that major or minor? I tricked you. It's neither major nor minor. It's a chord that we call diminished. And a diminished chord, we basically have the third, we lower it. So let's raise it up. And the fifth, we raise it up. Okay. So there goes your major chord. Make it minor. And we make it diminished. We make this note go down a little bit. So I'm teaching you basic music theory. And so the music theory that we're building off is we have a scale or a key, the key of C, all white keys. Nice and easy to begin with. If we build triads on each one, we find a pattern. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and we go back to the top. We also have major. Now, we've been playing these, right? Now, again, it's a wonderful practice for your hands, but now we're going to begin to use our ears, and we're going to be using them to play chord progressions. As we remember, we said chord progressions is when you have one chord and then you move to the next one. Let's do some really basic chord progressions, and I'm going to teach you the basic progressions for what we call the 12-bar blues. Now, the 12-bar blues is a very standard. There's different types of blues. There's a 16-bar blues. There's a minor blues, all kinds of blues. But basically, it's a chord progression structure. And we're going to play in 4/4 time. And we're going to play the chord C for 4 measures. Now, we got 4 beats in a measure from 4/4 times. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one measure. We're going to do that 3 more times for a total of 4 measures. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Measure 3. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now, after 4 measures of C, we're going to move up to the key of F, and we're going to do that for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2. So that's 6 measures. We got 6 more to do 12. Go back to C for one more time. 1, 2, and hit it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have 8 measures now. Now we're going to move it up all to G for 1 measure. 1, 2, 3. Move it down to F. 1, 2, 3, 4. And back down to C. 1, 2, 3. And one more C. That is 12 measures or 12 bars of chords. Okay, let's go over that. So we have 4 in C, 2 to F, 2 to C, 1 to G, 1 to F, and 2 more back to C. Okay, now let's play it again. I'm going to be using quarter notes. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Move it up to F. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Move back down to C. To 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Up to G. To G. Don't. down to F, down, back to C. One more C. Okay, so I want you to practice that chord progression. Okay, 12-bar blues. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just playing quarter notes. And the goal of this is to get your hands moving up to the F. You're going to have to be looking ahead. Down to C. Up to G, one measure. And down to F. Down back to C. One more C. That's it, 12 bars. Okay, now that chord structure is used so many places. It's used in rock and roll. I'm trying to think of a rock and roll song. Trying to think. Little Richard just comes to my mind. Little Richard. Tutti frutti, oh Rudy. 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 A womp bom a loo bom a womp bam. Look up that song. Little Richard, Tutti Frutti. It's the basic of just your basic rock and roll from the 50s and 60s. All right. So let's do this pattern one more time, and we're going to wrap this video up. Let's, instead of doing 4 quarter notes, let's just do half notes. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We're on measure 4. Move it up to F3. 4 to 1, 2, dun, 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 back down to C. Dun, 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 dun. And we're going to move it to G for one measure. 1, 2, 3, down to F. Now I'm just going to have some fun with this. Okay, once you get this pattern down in your hands, I'm just going to do a little bit of improvisation. So I'm going to, with my left hand, I'm going to play those quarter notes. Half notes, sorry. And with my right hand, I'm going to improvise a melody. Okay. You know this pattern already as the 5-finger pattern, right? So again, I'm just improvising. Okay, so that's what I want you to work on this week, is working on that 12-bar blue pattern. And later on, we're going to have some fun with it. I'll give you a little hint what we're going to do. We're going to teach you what they call, I don't know what they call, a boogie woogie bass. And you get the idea. That is that is really how I started learning how to play gospel and blues music. It's really based on this really simple rhythm there. I learned the blues scale. You learn some fun stuff in there. But again, just practice that chord structure, and we'll hear you, and we'll go over some other stuff in the future. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Nigel.